Hi everyone, my name is Kaylin, and today we will be going over the 3 main signs of autism spectrum disorder. I picked this topic because I don't know much about it, and I don't know anybody with ASD, so I thought this would be a good time to learn some more information. Alright, here we go. Autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, is a developmental disorder showed by difficulty with social interaction and communication. Those who have ASD exhibit signs of restrictive and repetitive patterns of behavior, interest, and/or activities. Those who have ASD exhibit symptoms that are much more severe compared to those with other special needs. Children with ASD show symptoms in the first year of life, but some seem normal and then suddenly regress at about age 2 or 3 because a certain level of brain development or a particular medical issue occurs. And I got that quote from our textbook. There are definitely several symptoms that come along with ASD, but there are 3 primary ones, which are the ones we will be going over today. Those include social deficits, language impairments, and repetitive behaviors. Social deficits include an inadequate social understanding. From Autism Speaks, which is a website, by toddlerhood, many children with autism have difficulty playing social games, and they don't imitate the actions of others and prefer to play alone. They also have issues interpreting social cues. They have issues seeing things from another person's point of view and have difficulty understanding emotions and regulating their own emotions. Because they don't understand emotions, it makes it to where they don't fit in and they're less likely to talk or play with anyone, which ends up in having a delayed theory of mind. And those symptoms range from mild to moderate and severe. Those with language impairments are more than likely to have delayed babbling, speaking, and the use of gestures when they're infants and toddlers. Others experience significant language delays and don't begin to speak until much later. But with therapy, of course, those can be fixed and you can find ways that they can use language well. When they do develop their language, though, it can be used in unusual ways. Some have issues combining their sentences, and some only speak in single words and repeat their words, and some speak verbatim. Others have problems carrying on a conversation and don't let others talk, and some even develop large, unusual vocabularies. They also have issues understanding body language and tone of voice, and sometimes someone affected by autism may not exhibit a typical body language. Lastly, we have repetitive behaviors. Those with ASD are more than likely to show repetitive behaviors. These include lining up toys by color instead of playing with them, or they may have a fascination with trains, lights, or spinning objects. Common repetitive behaviors consist of hand flapping, rocking, jumping, and twirling, those type of things, which I'm sure you all know that. They may also occur in the form of preoccupations or obsessions. On Autism Speaks, on the website that I found, it listed a couple. There was obsessions with vacuums or specific household furnitures, those type of things. This also occurs in adults who have autism, and so it's very important for them to have an extreme consistency in their environments and daily routines. Otherwise, they'll get very, very upset, and yeah. Alright, so I found a video for you. It's called How to Recognize the Early Signs of Autism, and it's actually really cute, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Sorry, I gotta let it load.
How to recognize the early signs. Early intervention is important for children with autism, a developmental disorder that inhibits socialization, so be on the lookout for warning signs. You will need knowledge of developmental milestones and careful attention to your baby's behavior. Optional, A hearing test for your child. Do not assume that if your baby exhibits behaviors associated with autism, they necessarily have the disorder. Observe them carefully and bring any concerns to a doctor. Step 1. Pay attention to when your baby begins to babble. They should start at around 5 months old. Step 2. Begin monitoring eye contact at around 6 to 9 months, when infants generally start smiling in response to their parents' grins. Babies with autism tend to avoid looking at their parents. Step 3. If your baby makes a sound, make one back and see if they reciprocate. Babies with autism usually do not take part in this verbal turn-taking, nor do they participate in peekaboo. Step 4. Note whether your baby responds to their name. They should begin to do so starting around 10 months. Babies with autism often ignore people trying to get their attention and don't solicit anyone else's attention. If your baby ignores you when you call their name, get their ears checked. They might have a hearing impairment. Step 5. Note their behavior around 12 months. By this point, most babies are pointing, waving, grasping objects, and attempting to speak. Step 6. Gauge your baby's sensitivity to sound and touch. Many children with autism are unusually sensitive to loud noises and hate being cuddled or touched, yet they sometimes underreact to pain. Step 7. Note their focus. Do they tend to fixate on a favorite object or part of an object to the exclusion of other people, including other toddlers? Step 8. Look for repetitive movements associated with autism, such as rocking back and forth, hand flapping, and twirling. Step 9. See how set in their ways they are. Children with autism often exhibit strong resistance to changes in their routine. Step 10. Keep track of their vocabulary. At 18 months, most babies can say about a dozen words, and by the 2-year mark, they're usually initiating 2-word phrases. Step 11. Some children with autism seem to develop normally until 18 to 24 months, then stop or regress in speech and other growth. Consult your pediatrician if you're...
Alright, we're going to stop it short there. It is a little long, so I will leave a link on our presentation posting that you guys can get to it. So, in the summary of what we have learned today, there are several symptoms that come along with the development disorder of autism, but there are 3 main signs for it: social deficits, language impairments, and repetitive behaviors. There is no cure for ASD, but with therapy and treatment, the symptoms can become less severe for those with the disorder. Right, here's my references. I hope you guys enjoyed my post, and I'll leave all my information there in our presentation postings. Alright, thanks for listening.